And welcome back to That's a Tough One, the podcast.
And YouTube video.
And we're doing a video cast now. We are.
First time.
We made it.
Mm-hmm.
We made it.
We've been threatening to do it. And we finally decided to do it.
Yeah, we were never sure if we were going to make it to the big leagues.
No, we still aren't sure, but we're giving it a try. Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
Now we're
how it feels.
Now we're like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But
in a
good way.
Okay.
We can make an alpha male podcast.
No.
Beta male podcast.
But I couldn't be on it.
We'll put a beard on you. They won't know the difference.
No, I'm good. I have no interest in talking about what I bring to the table, so I am fine.
What do you bring to the table?
I'm saying, you know what? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. You're right.
Well, for everybody here that's listening or watching,
yeah,
make sure I go to our social media places. Go on the gram, like the cool kids. Go see us at That's a Tough One pod.
It's
head
Instagram.
Head over to the Twitter and at That's a _tough one.
Yes.
Spelling it will be in the descriptionator.
Yeah, we're on YouTube, so if you found us, you know where to find us.
You're already here.
Uh-huh.
And I'm happy you're here. Then you go to the bottom and fall to all the other cool places, and we like you. We like your faces.
Yes, but I just want to assure our podcast listeners that we still love them, even though we're maybe going to be on YouTube more moving forward, but we still love our OG podcast listeners too.
Did we sell out?
No, we gotta have income, revenue, ads to sell out. Not yet.
Well, not yet.
Not ever.
Yeah, no, we're gonna sell out. I'll sell out quick. I'm selling. I'm deuces.
Just waiting on Barstool Sports.
Oh yeah.
To come knocking.
Oh yeah. I'm waiting on. I think it's a couple of them. I don't want to say their names wrong, so I'm not gonna say it, just in case y'all need me.
All right. Cool.
But I guess we'll keep doing what we always do and talk about
our first
stories in the news that we like.
So no updates, no corrections or anything from
First of all,
stories.
I never have to correct anything. And now that you ask, I don't have an update.
All right. I don't think I have any either.
You know, I did have one, but I don't remember it.
All right.
You gotta have ad revenue to remember updates. You don't get no ad. You can't remember the updates. You get no ad revenue.
All right. Well, what's your first mini for today?
Bet. Headline. D.A.R.E says HBO's Euphoria glamorizes drug use, sex, and violence. The show chooses to misguidedly glorify erroneously depicted high school student drug use, addiction, and other destructive behaviors as a common in today's world, D.A.R.E wrote.
I guess my question to that would be what teenage shows have not done that in the past?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about Beverly Hills 90210. They were definitely hooking up on that show. Degrassi.
Yeah. Oh man, Jimmy. What happened to Tammy? It still hurt me, bro.
Now we don't watch the show, so I don't know how gratuitous things are. I don't know how much they're showing.
Well, based on what I've seen on TikTok.
Okay. It's a lot.
Based on what the kids are telling me, they be wilding out. I have a coworker that he keeps me informed on what's happening in the world.
Well, I understand that. I feel like nowadays it's kind of unrealistic to think that a TV show is a thing that's getting your child into sex and drugs, because a lot of teenagers, as we know, they already watch pornography, they already have Instagram, Twitter, TikTok does censor a lot of stuff, but they have access to TV shows, movies, anything they want. If they want to see sex or they want to see drugs, they know how to find it.
Yeah.
So, Euphoria might be one way that people are getting exposed, but you banning your child from watching Euphoria is not going to stop them from being exposed to those things.
Yeah, that doesn't stop them from seeing all. You can literally go on an old iPod and search the internet still, connected to Wi-Fi. If you type in muffin in Google search bar, you don't know what will come up.
You can go on certain websites and read pornography, so it really doesn't.
It doesn't stop you. It doesn't glamorify. It shows a perspective of, I guess, some teenager. It was an experience I had. I don't know if you had a euphoric high school experience.
I don't watch the show, but from what I've heard, probably not.
Yeah, it's wild. I don't know if this is a spoiler to anybody, but apparently they just had an episode where one of the guys' dad was fucking another kid, and I guess they recorded. I don't know. It's wild. They wild enough.
So on Pretty Little Liars, there was a storyline where the teacher was dating one of the main characters who was his student. So I don't think there were any graphic sex scenes that I can recall, but this is not new. I do feel like as a parent in your home, if you don't want your child to watch Euphoria, 100% you're right. I can totally get why a parent wouldn't be comfortable with their child watching that. But just because you don't want that in your household doesn't mean the show has to get canceled. Like, it's HBO, so expect nudity.
They put it at the beginning of each show, whatever's in it.
And you just have to make a judgment in your household. But you can't be like, I don't want my child to watch this or listen to this music, so it should be banned for everybody. Because it's like adults, too, who want to watch Euphoria, or people who don't care what their kids watch. So, oh well, you better put a blocker on. I don't know what to tell them.
Well, I mean, it's D.A.R.E. I mean, they've been around since the 1980s, thanks to social media's favorite president, Ronald Reagan. So, I mean, they're really. I remember, I love D.A.R.E. Officer Otto coming into my class from elementary school. I mean,
you remember the name?
I love Officer Otto, man. He was so cool. I got an old picture of me with my safety patrol uniform. And also, I was so cool.
So you would have been the person narking on all the kids having fun if you went to Euphoria.
And no wonder nobody gave me a bunch of Molly. They're like, I just did my 8th Molly today. 8th period is gonna be a drag.
All I remember from D.A.R.E. is they're saying if somebody approaches you and offers you something, say no, stranger danger. I feel like maybe they brought in like a police dog or something like that, but I don't remember anything other than that.
You know what? Now that we're joking about D.A.R.E., I had a stranger danger moment when I was in elementary school, and I used all my D.A.R.E. techniques. If anybody wants to hear that story, I'll be happy to tell y'all. But D.A.R.E. works sometimes. I didn't get stranger danger thanks to D.A.R.E.
Nobody ever tries to kidnap me, so
yeah. That's a good thing. You say no, like I wasn't kidnapped.
No. I was a safe child. So yeah, that's your mini. Anything else to add?
We gotta. Hey, y'all keep Euphoria. You're in the lexicon. Everybody talking about y'all. Keep doing mostly, I guess, what you're doing. Maybe one day I'll watch like the first 2 minutes of it and stop. So maybe I gotta get a little further. I told myself I'll watch one episode just to see what's happening. Then I'll probably just jump off.
Yeah, I think since I work with like around that age population for a job, and I hear those types of problems 40 hours a week, I have no interest in coming home and watching more teenagers talk about their problems. So I'm good on Euphoria. But shout out to, Zendaya and the rest of the cast for having a hit show in their hands. Oh yeah. Well, my mini is like a little bit of a wild ride.
What they did?
So it's set in Daytona Beach, Florida.
Hey.
Of course. What happened? And it comes from Click Orlando, and the title of the article is "Man Uses Roach Spray Nunchucks to Quiet Down Neighbors, Police Say." So basically what happened was there was a man in an apartment complex who, according to witnesses, he threatened a group of women parked in a car in the parking lot in the complex. They all shared the complex. They were celebrating one person's 18th birthday, so they were in the car, like blasting music, dancing. Like we've had that experience before at places we live. Just
it's not the best experience.
Parking lot parties in the middle of the night. Like I totally don't blame anybody for waking up and being pissed off hearing that in the middle of the night.
I would be pissed too. I had to yell at some girls at our old apartment about doing that.
Yeah, so he yells at them and tells them to lower the volume of the music. And so, of course, like a verbal altercation breaks out. And so the man started making, like, he cussed them out. He started making threats. He threatened to air it out. So, for those who know what that means, you know what that means. So then they continued to argue with him. And that's when he pulled out a can of roach spray and sprayed them head to toe. And then he started to threaten them with his nunchucks. But what happened was when he went to use the nunchucks, they hit the car door and bounced back and hit him in the forehead. So he actually ended up assaulting himself. But you can't you can't hit people with. I mean, you can't spray people with roach spray.
No, you can't spray.
So when he called the police, they were like, "Oh, but you sprayed them, so now you have to go to jail."
Yeah, you sprayed them and then you damaged their car. So
probably so.
Yeah, you got to leave, sir. Mm-hmm. You the problem. I mean, they the problem. They started the problem.
Yeah, so when the police got to the scene, they found Adams, who's the perpetrator. He had a cut on his forehead, and they also found him with one nunchuck. So I guess it
hit him that hard. No wonder he was hurt. Adam had a concussion. That's why he called the cops.
He probably had a concussion. And he also had a can of pepper spray, an empty can of roach spray, and a box with a handgun. But he never pulled it out. He just only used the roach spray. My question is, do you know how long and hard you have to be spraying to use an entire can of roach spray? Like, you have to be spraying for probably 5 minutes straight.
That's a lot of
you just spray
roach spray spraying.
Just empty the can out.
You know what? Because no matter where I've lived, I've never went through a whole can of roach spray. So to say that he was almost at the end, it's like, why? How long you been using this roach spray for?
Right. I feel like the times I bought any type of outdoor insect repellent or bugberry or whatever, I probably had that thing for 2 years. This man, and maybe he was dealing with other roaches in the apartment complex, whatever.
I'm assuming based on the spray, having the spray ready.
But what I will say is, at least the only thing he busted was a can of spray. He didn't pull out a gun. Yeah. If you had to use a weapon, I'd rather get sprayed with roach spray or even pepper spray than get shot. So I don't know why he felt like he needed to go outside with spray, roach spray, pepper spray, nunchucks, and a gun.
Now I don't.
On this 18-year-old girl.
Now I don't know about just let myself get gun or pepper spray. I had that pepper spray before. But
between a gun and a pepper spray, which one would you rather have?
Where I'm getting shot at?
You don't know. You don't know.
I guess pepper spray, but goddamn, yeah,
pepper spray.
That's real wild. He
was so mad.
He just started spraying these girls and wanted to assault them.
And assaulted his. I feel like if I was one of those girls and he was out there yelling at me and spraying me with pepper spray, the moment I saw that nunchuck bounce back and block him in the forehead, I was like, I'm not even mad anymore.
Yeah,
that's fine. That's all I needed to see.
Now we can't have. I don't want them going back next week saying, I guess we'll be loud every weekend now. Who's gonna stop us?
No.
Nunchuck man gone. To be outside his window going,
I'm sure he was back in the apartment. He probably got out on bail the next day.
He got out that night. But I don't want them coming back the next night saying we're gonna out petty him.
I think the moral of the story here is be a good neighbor. And I understand people celebrating their birthdays and milestones and they be drunk and everything. But nobody wants to be woken up at 1 a.m. by your music. And you're young now and you don't think it's a big deal. But I guarantee you, when you get older and you want to sleep and you hear some other people outside, you will understand how annoying it is. And the other moral of the story is don't spray people with stuff. Don't assault people with oils, sprays, nunchucks, stars, nothing. Right?
Maybe, mostly.
Okay.
Mostly. I got one more, another mini story.
Go for it.
Keeping it small.
Okay.
YouTuber, it's the headline, YouTuber Tasha K responds after jury orders her to pay Cardi B $4 million in defamation case. Mm-hmm. And I don't know a lot about the case. I think I saw it on Instagram or something, and I just thought, wow, you can't be lying on the internet no more.
It's a wild story, yeah.
Yeah, based on what I was seeing, she was saying some shit that wasn't true.
She was saying that she had an STD, a one that you can't get rid of through medication.
Yeah.
She was saying a whole bunch of really vicious rumors about her. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that's wild. But you know what? Hey, they got somebody. Too bad it had to be a black woman. They got somebody. No more just going on the internet just being as wild. You have to be a little more cautious now.
But I think it was also because when the lawsuit first happened, she went online and she was bragging about oh, she'll never win this lawsuit. She'll never get any money from me. This is nothing but good publicity for me. So I think that also has something to do with the judge's ruling. They're oh, you think this is a game? This is funny to you.
Well, hopefully they go back in and adjust the monetary amount, but still say you are liable.
Yeah, I don't think it's good to completely ruin anybody. That's kind of what Hulk Hogan did. And I know that was a bigger company as opposed to this one woman that's a blogger. But I do think you should be held responsible when you do stuff like that. Because that'll be the only thing that will stop some people from publishing stuff to ruin people's lives. Yeah. Is if you have to get sued for enough money to where it really hurts. Should that completely ruin your livelihood? maybe, depending on what you're doing. In most cases, probably not. But that also makes me think about those people who like film people's kids. And it's like, well, hey, they don't want their kids to be filmed. Don't post pictures of people's kids. And if they sue you for that, then I don't even have a problem because those are children. So I don't feel bad for those people.
That's cool. Do you have anything else for us?
I do.
What do the people need to know?
So this is interesting.
I'm interested.
So Southwest has a new CEO.
Okay.
That's coming in. And in an interview, he said that he's actually thinking about getting rid of the open seating.
I would be okay with getting rid of open seating because it's always a hassle. Like especially when we fly, those tickets are expensive, and it's hard to say we're gonna both get like this grouping of seat early booking. Yeah. So like we'll do it so one of us gets it. So I gotta go on there and I gotta run and I gotta elbow this old lady and throw my bags up and sit down and say, y'all don't sit next to me, and hope for the best.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have mixed feelings because on the one hand, I like the idea of you come in and you sit down and you don't have people like, oh, excuse me, we wanted to sit together. Can you move so we can be together and all that type of stuff with the assigned seating. I think there we go.
We back.
We are going.
Everything shut down. The whole recording thing, everything happened. I had to pour me some more whiskey on that.
Technical difficulties did happen, but you know what? We put our brains together, and we solved a tough one because we wanted to keep talking about these tough topics.
That's in the name of the podcast.
So, where did we leave off? We were talking about Southwest, and we were talking about potentially seeing a change to go to seating assignments. They did say that they are not changing the free check bags.
See, long as the bags are more important to me than the seating assignments, because I'm okay with getting rid of seating assignments of the bag. That's what makes Southwest so cool. Like, I know I can bring my bag as long as it's under 50 pounds. It's gonna get on. I don't got to 2 bags. I don't have to pay $100-something to try to get my bag on there. That's a good amount of money. I know some people. Hey, they got it like that. Good for you. I just can't be having a surprise. Oh, your bag 5 pounds over. That'd be an extra lot of money. I think we went. It was like $300 for a bag.
Yeah, that was on Delta. And my bag was 3 pounds over, and she was like, "Oh, you have to pay $150." And I said, "I will not do that.
Not for 3 pounds.
Thank you very much. Not for no 3 pounds. Like I would throw a pair of shoes away or a pair of jeans away before I pay $150." But I mean, I think. Back like a few years ago, traveling Southwest was a lot easier because, you know, I'm sure we all know flights weren't as packed as they have gotten over the last few years. I think it was less people taking advantage of the family boarding, like the pre-boards. I think you had a chance of, our neighbors have muscle cars, if you heard that.
They let it drive especially real late at night.
Only when and late at night, early in the morning, or when we're recording.
Thank you guys. Awesome.
I think like it used to be a chance that you could check in for your flight like within the first 5 minutes of when the check-in opened, and you would still get an A boarding thing. Now, if you don't pay for the early bird check-in, or you're not like the rewards member, you're not getting A. You maybe you getting A50, A60 if the flight isn't super duper full. But if you're in B, you have to go behind all the families, the people, you know, the kids supposed to be under 6, but it's like teenagers. They got 2 12-year-olds, mama, daddy, uncle, cousin, this whole family. And so sometimes like you could be in B and you might have checked in like right at, like say your flight leaves at 6, you checked in at right at 6. You still maybe are at the back of the plane. Maybe you can't sit with your family. Maybe you even in a middle seat, depending on how many people get on before you.
Yeah, I will give Southwest credit though for trying to alleviate some of the issues they were having with family boarding and saying if there's one child under 6, you can have 2 adults.
Yeah. There's
no bringing your 20-year-old cousin and your son's 30 years old and you got a 6-year-old, and you're like, well, we got a 6-year-old. Like, no, mama and daddy right here, 2 adults.
Because we definitely saw, depending on the airport, we've seen like, I thought one time it was like maybe a family reunion, and it was one kid 1 or 2 kids that
It was
were
about 2
under
kids.
6.
Yeah.
For sure, they were really small. But it was maybe like 15 people who got on with them. So we do appreciate, especially in cities where a lot of kids are flying, like into Orlando, that when they enforce that. But then it's like but sometimes you just have a lot of families and they do have other kids.
Yeah, especially to vacation destinations like Orlando. You got Disney World and Universal there. There's going to be a lot of kids traveling.
Yeah, holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, it's just more families traveling. And obviously, like, if y'all can't tell, we don't have any kids. And so we be giving them this thing face when they get on, like, mugging, like, dang, because they don't get all the good seats and everything. So I feel like I don't mind them going back toward checking or going towards giving people assigned seats. I don't know what that's gonna mean for the family board. Like, they gonna have to just book their flights early and pick the seats. But I do think some people will definitely not be happy with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's beneficial for everybody else except for the families, but they'll be okay. That just means they have to buy their seats and make sure they're real diligent. Don't come to me asking, can you switch with me? Like, no, I like my seat. I want to sit in the middle seat between you and your spouse. I'm good with that.
I think the other good thing is, like, say you have to use the restroom, or you sit in line for coffee and the line is too long, and you do have an early spot, but you are late for your flight for whatever reason. Now you sit in the middle seat, as opposed to other airlines. Like, I could walk on last person on the flight. I know my seat is gonna be waiting for me because it's assigned. So that's nice, but I hope they don't do like other airlines and start charging for the premium seats. Like, you don't want to sit in the middle? Now you got to pay extra $20 because that's how those flights, those prices go up. So I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, it's not in any of our control because the airline industry does what they want.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to listen to our That's Stuff on podcast, even though you should, because you're here right now. Thank you again.
Yeah. And I also like the fact that Southwest has good companion certificates too. So it's like they do a lot of stuff that's good for customers, but it's like, dang, it's just all those families.
No more fighting for our lives.
No more fighting for our lives. I like Delta. I know this is like a segue, but that's why I like Delta.
Yeah, Delta usually does this right, especially if you get a business class or something. The seat's nice, the plane big.
Plus, yeah.
Like,
Wi-Fi always work.
Wi-Fi jumping in there.
Sometimes Southwest, you don't know.
It just happened you done. I'm having the plane take off and land.
Yeah, but they're also talking about potentially bringing back the drink service too, which
we don't need it.
I don't think we need it.
No,
I don't think we need it.
Now, I don't know how the mask policies are going to be working, but I don't. We almost saw somebody act up on the flight. They had their child with them, and they were like, "Oh, it's getting iffy." I'm like, "Are we gonna be on a viral video?" We gonna be in the background going.
So my idea is, if I worked for the federal government, the FAA or whatever, I think everybody who has a ticket, you should have to scan your ticket to buy a drink in the airport or on the plane. You should have 2 scans, and then after you have 2 drinks, that's it. And for like maybe a certain amount of time, or until you get to the next airport or something. I don't think you should be able to go into the airport. Like, some people get there at 4:30 when TSA opens, their flight isn't until 6 or 7, and they just sit there and get hammered. Yeah,
like that'd be kind of cool. Like, hey, there's only a 2 drink limit up to 4 hours before your flight. It won't let you drink more than 2 drinks in the whole airport. That way, we know, like, hey, well, I'm here 5 hours early. Unless you're going to get 6 cocktails in before it gets to those 4 hours, ain't nothing you can do. Hey, automatically it's going to cut you off.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to do something about people just cutting the food at airports. And it's unfortunate because I know that's how places make a lot of money, and those restaurants and those bars in the airport make money. But personally, I would like to know that my flight is going to get to its destination and people ain't going to get on there and cut up.
Nah, yeah, they need to sit behind that. I got time for that.
Yes, yeah. Well, you have another meaning, or you got another story for us?
We can talk about stories, and it may be something that you have seen in this world. The headline: Judge lifts order preventing Wisconsin hospital workers from starting new jobs. Heard that one in the news?
Lifts order preventing hospital workers. So the order was that if you worked in a hospital in Wisconsin, you couldn't quit and get another job.
Great question. There's this hospital company in Wisconsin called, I'm not sure how to pronounce the name, AITA Care, and they blocked 7 of their employees who were trying to transfer over to, I guess, new jobs at Ascension Northeast Wisconsin, and mostly everybody on that team was going to leave, and they worked in I don't know the name by heart. They all worked in the interventional radiology and cardiovascular team.
That's important.
Yeah, so there were 7 out of 11 people. I think the Theta Care at that hospital there, it said it was like a stage 2, level 2.
Okay.
Because that unit's always being able to access 24/7. So there's always people there that's ready to do that type of job.
Okay.
But if they lose 7 people, they won't be able to do it.
Yeah.
So they went to a judge and said, we want you to order them to not be able to leave in another contract. They're not contracted workers. So they can't leave right now because we will be understaffed if they all decide to leave and go over there. And that's what gets a little iffy. Like they had to get labor lawyers involved.
It's probably a better word for this, but that feels like forced labor. I know they're still paying them, but that feels like illegal. That feels like a little bit of slavery or indentured servitude or something. Yeah, like I don't think you can force people to stay in a job other than like if you sign a contract like for the military, obviously that's something different. But that don't sound like that's what that was.
No. And I understand Theta Care, like, hey, we operate this hospital. They have 7 hospitals in the area. This is a very important unit to us. To lose that many people will be tragic. But I think you have to ask yourself, why are that many people wanting to leave? Like, why do they all feel like there's a better opportunity over here? I'm going to take it. Like, did anybody talk to them? Anybody ask, like, hey, if we change this, if we do this, can we keep you here? Y'all were like, well, y'all can leave, but y'all can't all leave at the same time. They probably had their grievances, and none of them were ever met. And they got to the point where these people are like, no, we're going to leave. We're fed up. And the other company's like, yeah, we need all y'all. If y'all want to come, bring it.
So was it that they told them they had to continue showing up for shifts?
Yes.
So it wasn't just like, oh, well, if you quit, you won't have a job. It's like you mandated by law to come in and work this shift.
And they were going to slowly over time let them go over to the new place where they wanted to work. That's crazy, ain't it?
Unless you have a non-compete clause, that's the only way that I could see them telling you that you can't go take another job. But even still, like, what if that was me and I said, okay, I'm gonna just use all my sick days then? Can I do that?
Yeah. What are they gonna do? I'm just gonna be sick every day, and then like, okay, well, nobody has this treatment that could possibly help people. I'm not gonna get into how that unit is important, but it's important. It's important enough for them to do all this to try to stop it. Yeah, and I guess some of their complaints was poor management and a destructive personal emergency for everyone and everything in this place. Like they didn't like it there.
Well, you know, when 7 people quit a job at the same time, it's definitely higher ups. It's definitely management, big level policies, or something happened, and it's not just 7 people just up and quitting for no reason. And also, I would argue it's people who probably like know the importance of their job right now more than ever. If they're quitting like that, it's for a reason. And it's wild, like you said, that they would say, oh, can we make changes to keep you? We value you. Like, no, we're going to mandate that you have to come into work. Like, that says a lot about the type of working environment they were in. So I'm glad that they didn't allow jobs to set that legal precedence of like, oh yeah, I can just force you, if you have specialized skill, I can force you to stay here until I find somebody else to replace you.
Yeah, because I don't want to come into work. Like this is not good for my mental health. And now you have somebody that doesn't want to be there, that you're going to try to force them to work until you feel like they can leave because we're able to accommodate ourselves better. And they're going to do their performance may suffer. We can't have their performance suffer in that type of job.
That's a huge ethical concern. Like in those types of jobs, similar to my job role, if there's worry or cause to think that you are burnt out and therefore you can't do your job to the level that you need to be doing it, like the responsibility of where you work is to remove you from those job duties and like help fix whatever issues you can, or they can't fix the issues, you can't do that job anymore because it's people's lives we're talking about. So personally, like, I wouldn't want somebody working on me that's legally being forced to be there, that doesn't want to be there, that's under all that stress and duress.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying that they would intentionally harm anybody, but it's just like, I can't imagine mentally going into a job every day knowing I was mandated by a court, being forced to go there.
Yeah, a place that I would gladly quit. What happens if they quit? Like, what? There's no legal recourse. Well, what are you going to hold from them?
Yeah, I just think that's a really dangerous thing to start making it seem to companies that's acceptable. Because what happens when, I'm a lawyer for Amazon and I had 2,500 employees trying to quit nationwide last week. I need you to tell them they have to keep working because it's the holiday season. Like,
That's one of the reasons, and just one of the people representing them, just like, now we have management incapable of controlling labor and asking courts to prevent the free market from happening. It's just we're living in the upside down world right now. Like, I mean, we want the free market. Everybody wants the free market until it's truly free and people are able to exercise their own rights.
Yeah. And the flip side of that is most states in the United States, because of that, are right to work states. And so your job can literally fire you without cause and without any reason. Like, they don't like, what sweater you wearing today? They can fire you and you don't have any legal recourse. And now they're making it so a lot of jobs can pay you minimum wage or below living wage to train you. So it's like, you can fire me anytime, but you also wonder where I can't quit my job.
Yeah, like what you gonna fire me? We're gonna fire you for performance, but I can't leave to go somewhere else with my performance. No.
No, sir.
That doesn't make any sense. I'm like, okay.
And that would probably be something that if other companies tried to do that would eventually be in people's employment contracts. It's like, oh no, you can't force me to stay here. You can tell me I can't. Y'all can do a non-compete all you want to.
Yeah.
If I take my specialized knowledge or expertise, I can't go take it over to a competitor across the street. That's pretty standard. But you can't make me.
Yeah, we probably definitely shouldn't be doing that for people in the medical field. Saying,
I throw myself down some stairs. My hands, look, they're broken. I can't do nothing. No, so let me go.
Yeah, no. Like, in medical field, in certain other fields are different. Like, if somebody wants to leave and go to another hospital, we know they're going to help other people at the other hospital. Like, if you just really don't want that computer programmer going somewhere, okay, you can fight it all you want. Let's stop them from going there. But we need people, especially first responders and all that right now. So.
Yeah, I'm glad that it was overturned. I hope those people will sue and get a lot of money because they deserve it. Because that's just unreal.
We wonder why they wanted to leave.
Right. Fire that manager. Fire whoever the people are who are making the decisions at that facility.
Because it's not working. Like, if this is how you're going to respond to a situation like that, like, hey, just tell them, hey, thank y'all for working here. Good luck on your next venture. We wish you guys would have done this, but hey, we'll move on right now. And
one thing I know, it's a small world. It's a small world. And I guarantee you, it's going to be very hard to fill those other 7 positions when those people do leave. Because who will go into that job?
That's what they hear now. The best of the people that are the best aren't going to go there. So now it's like, if you need that type of service with the hospital, like, you're getting the B team now. Like, it's not the people. Like, y'all bringing who in? Oh my God! It's just like, it's really the C team.
People who are desperate for those jobs, and I'm not saying that they're guaranteed to be bad, but most people be like, "Oh no, why would I want to go work there?" These people had to be legally forced to go work there. I'm good.
Yeah, something doesn't seem right about that.
Nothing seems right about that. Well, that was a very upsetting story, but I'm glad it had like a okay ending.
Yeah. Everybody got a little act right. Well, the judge got that act right because I don't know who first did that order to say, you know what, y'all all right. We should do that. Like, no, just because they got fancy lawyers don't mean that's right.
All right. Well, I have a doozy of a story to talk about today. So get your drink ready. I'm going to be probably making some mistakes and it may get confusing, but I'm going to do my best to try to break this story down.
It's all mistakes here. We good? Shoot. Okay.
So this article is titled "Why Swipe Online Dating Doesn't Work for Most People." And this was written by Jeff Allen for for medium.com. And so he did kind of like a deep dive into this very, very popular phenomenon of like swipe online dating. So for those who don't know what that is, that's like Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, where you swipe left or right to match with people. So swiping left is no.
Yeah, right is yes.
And right is yes.
I know somebody that met on one of those dating apps, ended up getting married.
Did they?
Yeah.
So obviously it works for some people. Others, it's not so much. And I would definitely say, as I've gotten older, dating has changed. Like I think when I first became of age and started dating, it was all, you met somebody at a party, at a basketball game, through a mutual friend. And then I think we've all watched online dating become super popular, have like less stigma, become more common and widespread. And now I would say it's probably like the main way for a lot of people that they meet people rather than just face to face, like complete strangers walking up to you in public or meeting through friends.
Yeah, especially with all this pandemic-y stuff going around. I mean, it's making it harder to meet. People spend a whole year and a half in their formative lives. This was the only way, and now they gotta try to relearn how to do something else. Like, I'll just stick to swiping.
Yep. So, for anybody who has been on like online dating apps over the last few years, you'll probably know it's a horrible hellscape of ghosting and dick pics and just catfishing. Apparently, happens a lot on there, and a lot of people just express their frustration with the whole entire process. And so Jeff Allen wrote an article kind of breaking down like what is the problem with swipe apps and why don't they work for most people. And I guess I would kind of push back and say, I don't think I would say it doesn't work for most people. I think it just takes time to work for most people. Like I do know plenty of people who have met spouses or at least have like long-time relationships off of dating apps. But I think you have to just sort through so much garbage to get there. So I think it'll be interesting just so as we talk through this to hear my opinion as like a woman who dated on my side of dating apps, and then you as a man who dated, like what that was like for you from your perspective on dating apps.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
All right. So the first theory is that just the numbers, like the probability of matching, because there are so much more men on dating apps than women. So in 2019 on Tinder, men swiped right on 46% of potential matches, and women only swiped right on about 14% or even less. And a big part of this is because there are just way, way, way more men. So women can afford to be more picky. I know, those running jokes on social media are like, oh, guy with the fish picture, swipe left. If he got on sunglasses, swipe left. If he's with a group of friends, you can't tell who he is, left. If it's a woman in the picture, swipe left. But it's because like women can do that because you can go through 100 pictures, 100 profiles in like 5 minutes and keep swiping to the point where like a lot of people narrow down their search range because they're like, it's just too many guys, and if you broaden it up to age or location, you could just be,
Yeah, just tip to the guys. Don't, and I guess to everybody, your first picture shouldn't be a group picture. Your first picture should be a picture of you.
Of you.
They have to know what you look like. Waist up, something. Yeah.
Not in a Halloween costume, not holding a fish, unless you just specifically want a woman that likes, like, is into hunting and outdoor stuff. But terrific. You keep holding that fish because you say I only want women that are also into fishing and hunting. Keep holding that fish. Not in sunglasses and not a picture of your car.
No.
And not a meme.
Yeah, if you're this big in a picture and your car is taking up 80% of the picture, you're doing it wrong already.
Yes. So basically, it creates a situation where women become more picky and men they lower their standards. And so what ends up happening is by the time you actually match with someone, the man that's matching with the woman may not be somebody that he would naturally have gone for if he, like, say he had just seen her out in public or out at a party, maybe looks wise or personality or interest wise. Like, you start to make compromises to increase your chances of actually matching with someone. And then what happens? You like you talk with them back and forth, and one of y'all ghost each other, or you go on a date, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, I really can't do this. I'm not interested. She's not my type at all. We're not clicking," and so it doesn't pan out. It doesn't go anywhere. So it's bad for the guy in terms of his he's not matching with women who he wants to match with, and it's bad for the girl where you might be getting more matches and more dates, but it's not leading to anything. Yeah. And so it's like more frustration on both people's parts. And I would say I definitely had that experience. I think going on dates, on online dating and things like that. What about you?
Yeah, it's I mean, it's just definitely difficult, especially just in terms of just matching and trying to start a conversation from scratch. And it always was funny to me, especially on Bumble. I know it's female start
reach out to you.
Yeah, but then they drop that first line is what's up? It's like, well, I'm still talking first. That didn't really do anything. It's still on you to try to get this conversation started, and hopefully you do everything correctly, or you don't want to mess up, and you say one. Not even nothing inappropriate, but you say one thing in the text that, because there are so many men on there like,
you can just get back on and meet somebody else.
Yeah, I like cats, and she's like, oh, you a cat person? Done already.
Yes, I would say I'm guilty of that myself. Unfortunately, like it was definitely times where I swiped on somebody and I was like, I'm not super crazy about them, but I give them a chance. And they said one thing, and I was like, oh no, I'm good.
And it wouldn't be like if they were having a whole conversation with you, that one thing wouldn't stop you from continuing talking to him. But it's so like you can be like, well, I don't like that thing.
Yeah, and I would say definitely the reverse has happened. Like it has definitely been times where I matched with somebody on Bumble and I sent them a message, and then I went back and looked at my app and they had unmatched from me because they probably just swiped right on every person and weren't really interested or whatever, or sometimes you do go on a date with somebody and you like, oh no, so it happens. I think that's just the pitfalls of you have so many people to date from. It's new people moving into a city every day, new people on the app every day. And so it's just easier to dispose of people. Like it's easier to say, well, you're okay, but I can probably do better. And so I just get back on the dating app and I just swipe more and swipe more and swipe more and swipe more. And it just continues on. So the other piece of this is a theory that the author developed called the hierarchy. So the person who are at the top, the top of the pyramid, top 10% of desirable people on any swipe app is a Chad. And basically a Chad is a super duper good looking guy. So that's a very, very small percentage of think like that guy that's good looking, he's a doctor, he has all the right political views, moderate, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And he's like the most desirable man that all the women on like Bumble or whatever want to match with. He's at the top because that's who like all the women want, and because there are so few men on there, the women are more in demand. So he's at the top. He has his pick of any woman, and he primarily uses those apps like that, like knowing I have any girl I swipe right on, I'm a match with. So he's meeting girls in real life. He's meeting girls on apps. He's just living it up, hard to attain, the Chad. Then there's another level under that. Those women are Stephanies. And this is like the top percentage of attractive women on dating apps. So these are like the girls that are models, the girls who have the physical features that any guy across all racial groups.
Almost conventional attraction things.
Yeah, I would say like the IG baddies on the black side, and on the other side, like, the beach babes and all that type of stuff like that. So these are girls who, for them too, any guy they swipe right on, they're going to match with.
They're going to make it.
Right. But they're having a hard time matching because basically they want to match with Chads. They want to match with the best looking guys. But the best looking guys, maybe you're matching with them. Maybe you're not, maybe you're getting ghosted. Maybe you're not getting into a first date because they're just out having sex with so many women or dating so many women.
Yeah, they're getting so many matches from probably the tier under them or...
They don't go down. The Chads don't go down. They don't need to go down.
Yeah.
But and the other issue is it's hard to get a Stephanie on a dating app because Stephanies are approached in public by men because they're so good looking that they don't necessarily need to be on the app, so they may not even stay on there for a long time. Like they gonna get souped up basically. Yeah. So the person under that is a Jake. So a Jake is a guy who is that like he's over 6 feet. He has a degree, has a good job. He has good profile pictures. He's desirable to women, but Jake is also struggling on the apps because Jake knows that he's good looking enough or he has the qualities that are desirable enough to potentially get with a Stephanie, but he's not matching with Stephanies. So that may be because he's not popping up in the algorithm. That might be because there's not a lot of Stephanies on there. It might be because the Stephanies are with the Chad. So he's like a guy who in normal everyday life would still be a guy who could meet women, but he's struggling on the dating apps.
Mm-hmm. The algorithm told me I was too dog to the bottom.
Oh, that's not true. That is not true. You think you Jake or you think you something else so far?
I don't know what I am.
Okay.
Somebody in the comments will tell me one day.
Okay, so the next level under that is Heathers. So this is where a good chunk of women fall into, about 30%. Heathers are good-looking girls. They're just not Stephanie. They're just not head turners, heartbreakers, models. These are the same girls who they're still getting plenty of swipes, but they are not getting first dates and they may not be getting second dates because the men who are matching with them are men who have, in their mind, lowered their standards from Stephanie's to them, to Heathers. You see, you follow?
Yeah, I'm all in.
You see what I mean? So it's like everybody is dating under or above where according to this where they should be.
Except for Chad.
Chad got it good. Stephanie's probably okay too, but Heather is getting guys that are probably out of her league.
Yeah. Because
they're lowering their standards to match. But because that's happening, they're not clicking in real life. So Heather's back on the dating app.
Yeah, it's plenty of Heathers on there.
She's striking out. And so then under that, we only got 2 more to go. We only got 2 more to go.
Somebody thesis.
I'm sure it probably is.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ian's are similar. They're like similar level of your average guy. He doesn't have and I'm only speaking about what's desirable from the cities I've lived in. So I'm not saying not having a degree is not desirable, but he probably doesn't have a degree, or maybe he has some of the other things that women aren't necessarily.
And there's nothing wrong with not having a degree, man. All trade workers, man. That's just important.
We're talking about the pickiest of the picky, Bumble people. Maybe he doesn't have a degree. Maybe he has kids. He's divorced. Maybe he's 5'9". Maybe he's, whatever. He might be losing his hair or something like that. But he is no luck on the dating apps.
He can't be 5'9". I don't know about that. Under 6 feet, he ain't gonna make it, baby.
Rarely they say this guy ever matched with a woman who's even moderately attractive, because women are dating up. So they're getting not the Ians. They're getting the Jakes. They're getting higher level guys.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, why would I swipe on you? I just matched with 3 or 4 top tier guys, so I can pass you up. So I know I can match with more people. So they're not doing good on the dating apps at all. Your face.
I feel bad for him, man. Shoot, Short Kings. He got a he a plumber, which is a great trade. He making great money, but some people generally do look down on that for no reason.
Yeah, but I think it's hard. So for example, I used to live in an area before we started dating that was near a hospital. And so most of the people that were on the dating apps were close to me were cardiologists, radiologists, surgeons. They were in med school. They were dentists. They were PhD students or whatever. So you have a very, according to society, high caliber of person on there. So a guy that might be I work at AT&T. Yes, it's still a good job. But just when you compare him, when you're swiping and you see all these other professions, doctor, lawyer, dentist, pilot, blah, blah, blah. It's oh, this is the average guy. I'm a great guy too. But women may just be more likely, or he's short. Women might just be more likely to swipe past on you because they got so many other options that might be more desirable.
Yeah, come on, Short Kings. I'm sticking to you guys, man. I believe in y'all. I've never been vertically challenged myself. But I do respect y'all plights. It is a hard because women do be discriminating against you, especially you say you 5'11", you say you 5'11". Ooh, I was like, boy, you about 5'5". Ain't nobody in this world actually 5'11".
Then you got the bottom.
Yeah, because everybody who's 5'11" says they're 6 feet. Everybody know that. That's a fact.
So then you have the bottom, and at the bottom are the Beccas. And the Beccas are just the women who are unlucky enough to not be attractive.
Oh.
And so if you are a Becca, you are not matching. Or if you are matching, you're getting ghosted left and right. You can't make it to that first date. If you make it to the first date, you can't make it to a second date. Like, those are the women who, any guy on that hierarchy, if he's not having luck, he'll match with you. And he'll maybe give you some type of a chance, but you're not. It's less likely that you would get a lasting relationship out of a swipe app if you're a Becca. So that's also like a really, really bad position to be in. And so according to the author, not me, but there tends to be women with kids. He said that's one of the most common people who fall into that category on dating apps. And I think, again, that probably just depends on like your age range and where you live, what type of circle you date into.
Yeah, because I definitely said, especially for me, I don't have any children, but probably once I hit like 27, 28, I had to be like, okay, if a woman has a child, I can't just be so picky for myself and say I'll never date a woman with a child. I mean, they lived a whole life before me. Like I can accept a child that they have. No, if I go there and they got 5, I'm like, oh no, that's okay for me. Let me dip out. Peace. That actually happened on a date. That happened on a date. I think I told you that.
You did what?
I showed up and they said they had 4 children from 3 different baby fathers, and they applying to work at the Waffle House. And I was like, and they moved to Atlanta. All their kids are they moved to where we were, but all their kids and stuff are still in Atlanta. And I was like, huh, that was wow.
And so did you left the date?
No. I had a reason. I gotta go to work or something.
Oh, wow. I had that happen to me on a date. Somebody gave me an excuse like that. He was like, well, I got to go run some errands. I was like, oh, I'll never see you again. And I did see him again in the grocery store one time, randomly.
He was like, oh.
Yeah, literally. And I was like, what do you think I'm going to say, hey, you.
Remember me?
It's dating app. Don't take it seriously. Sometimes there are people who you match with and they don't like you. Sometimes y'all don't like each other. Sometimes, it just happens. It's just, you're meeting a person who you only know by picture and text messages. So you just never know.
Might get in there and have a weird voice.
Yeah. And I think that's just the biggest takeaway from this is dating apps are a hard place. And I think I would say don't take rejection personally. Like, I know it's hard not to take rejection personally, but this is all people, what they have in their mind about what they think they deserve and who they think they deserve and whether or not they can do better or worse or whatever, just because there are so many people to pick from. And it's so easy to just get on there and meet a new person in 5 minutes. So I think it's just like, everybody is getting rejected on dating apps. That's probably the biggest takeaway. Don't take it personal, because everybody has been rejected, unmatched, blocked, stood up, ghosted. We've all had bad experiences. So, yeah.
Just I'll try to do a little quick story real quick. I know I have all the time in the world.
I can't tell if that was sarcastic or not.
My headline, Patrick Mahomes' fiance responds to criticism for spraying champagne on fans after Chiefs win. And I know when this comes out, the game's going to probably happen if anybody sees it. So this is before they played the AFC Championship game. So we're recording it. But that was wild. But I understand, because she had criticisms about the hate on social media she got by people saying how much they hate her. And she was like, hate is a strong word. And it is. It is. It definitely is. I hate for people to use hate. But in terms of saying you hate somebody. That's
somebody that you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know them, never interacted with them, just based on this one thing you saw on the internet. And that takes a toll on you, especially when you're somebody who, like, I'm assuming her, who reads those responses and sees them, and that can definitely affect you. And she sees a mother and all this, so don't want to see that. But she was, after the Chiefs win, she's in her sweet box, which is cool, great. Your child's father's out there playing football.
Oh, they have a kid together?
Yeah, they got a whole kid together. Okay. He out there playing football. They just won a big game, crazy game. You spraying champagne, cool. But when you spray the champagne over the balcony into people sitting down who are not interacting with you on a cold night, this is Kansas City, Missouri, and it's based on what everybody's wearing down there. It was freezing, and now they have a mystery liquid raining on their bodies, and they have to look up like, well, what is that? That's not the best look. Maybe you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I think my thing with her is that it's important, and it's not an excuse, but it's important to remember that she's young, and a lot of people don't get media training or any type of like education on how to come into fame and money and media press and exposure. And I think sometimes we forget that when we look at other athletes, but like a person like LeBron James, like he knew that he was going into the league, and he had people around him to prepare him for that. He had a wife who knew that. And I would say maybe same thing for Patrick Mahomes, because I know they've been together for a long time. But I think when you don't come from an environment where you're used to that type of fame, having somebody stick a camera in your face, knowing the right thing to say, the right thing to do, you're kind of immature, kind of not like cultured and exposed to a lot of things, which it seems like she is. I can see how you can make those types of stupid mistakes. And especially in the days of social media, when like it could just be your day and people could pounce on you for anything.
Yeah, they're waiting for you.
What I will say though is I feel like she should know better by now, especially when you know you kind of have a target on your back and people already don't like you. You should be careful about what you're doing. And I know she was like, well, can I not just do what I want and not have people jump on me? No, you can't.
You can't do what somebody whose husband is the regional manager of Best Buys. You can't do what that wife or their partner does that you can do, especially when you have such a huge social media presence. You just can't. You got to think about it. Now, that's what type of person you want to be. I'm going to spray champagne on anybody I see. That's fine, but it comes off a certain way based on everything that was happening at that moment in the stadium.
Yeah, I think it definitely was inappropriate. And I think sometimes it's okay to like, now people, of course, they're not calling her out in a nice way, but sometimes it's okay to reflect on something and say, oh yeah, that was wrong. I apologize. And I feel like that's the other issue people don't have with her, is that she never comes back and apologizes. She made it about her like, well, why are people attacking me? You know, why does everybody don't let me do what I want to do? It's like, that's not the right reaction to that. Like you did something on impulse. It didn't seem malicious. It seemed like she was just celebrating and having a good time, but it was a bad decision. It was the wrong thing to do. And so you can just apologize for that. Like if I was her, I'd be like, oh, let me reach out to everybody who was sitting in that section. I'm going to personally send them a bottle of champagne, send them flowers, you know, get them tickets for like the season opener next year.
Yes.
Something to do to just make amends for it instead of making yourself the victim.
Yes, that would definitely be a better response, and it'll make you seem like the bigger person over all those little hate comments. Like you're giving them fuel. Like, yeah, she sees my comments, she knows how we feel. Like, no, don't give them fuel.
I think it makes me wonder, like, what is being said to her from the people in her life, like her husband, her family, her fiance, her family.
Well, we probably know the other problem is she's probably getting advice from Patrick Mahomes' little brother.
But what I was trying to say was, I wonder if people are saying to her like, oh, they're just hating on you, they're just jealous, you're not doing anything wrong. And I think sometimes when people grow up in those types of environments or they're socialized like that, like baby, then they really don't understand. They do really take any type of criticism. It's like, oh, they're just hating, they're just jealous.
Yeah.
You know? So I feel for the Mahomes family. I think, well, no, I'll take that back. They rich, they fine, but
they'll be okay. This will be forgotten next week. I mean, whenever you watch this, the game's been played. They've either won or lost by now.
I don't think it'll be forgotten because I think people like a thing is building up about her and Jackson Mahomes on social media, and I think people are like even trying to frame this as a, well, we don't, they have to be knocked out of the playoffs, so we don't have to watch Jackson Mahomes dance at the Super Bowl.
Now, I don't hate on anybody on their hustle, but we all have to admit his dances aren't good.
And it's horrible. But that's, imagine like you play for the Kansas City Chiefs, and you see people online literally saying they hope you lose the game because they don't like the quarterback's wife and brother. That's so wild. That is so wild. Like, that is some like Real Housewives reality show gossip blending into NFL football. Like, people really don't like you.
Yeah.
To the point where they would rather have a team lose, a really good quarterback lose, because they don't like his wife and his brother.
I refuse to see that sad behind dancing anymore.
Yeah, it is trash.
I hope the Bengals before the game, they play all that his videos. Is this what we want? The Super Bowl? Is this what we want, guys?
My prediction is I think the Chiefs are gonna win.
Yeah, they're going to. They're probably most likely going to win. I wouldn't bet against them.
So I think we should expect to see them in the Super Bowl. But I would like to know what's going to happen in the next couple years between the Mahomes family. Like, is their antics going to end up having a like reflection on his image and his career? I do think people just like him in terms of like, he's talented at what he does.
Yeah.
He kind of is a quiet guy. He's not flashy. He's not partying. He's not making any political statements left or right or whatever. So I think people like that about him.
Yeah, based on the media image he presents, he seems, I enjoy him. He seems cool.
He don't seem cool. He seems like a nice guy.
Yeah,
he doesn't seem like a cool.
No.
And that's fine. He don't got to be cool.
Yeah, I feel like somebody dresses him. He doesn't just say, I need to wear those clothes.
Somebody dress him like that?
He tried. He was probably wearing bootcut jeans before, so shoot, gotta do something.
But I do know also, when you stop being the underdog and like the young guy who everybody wants to see you kind of like hit the top. When you hit the top, what happens? Usually people start hating you, become the villain. And so I hope that all the stuff with his fiance and his brother doesn't help kind of turn that narrative of people rooting against him.
I'm not rooting against him. I'm rooting against them taking Instagram pictures at the 50-yard line. And they're sad dancing. That's what I'm rooting against.
They are so obnoxious. Like, I had to do a little deep dive and like go on TikTok and watch videos of them, and I was like, wow, they're unlikable. They are unlikable for sure.
Because I just don't know what he does. I don't know what. Does he do sketches? Does he do dancing? He can't be popular off dancing because it's not good.
They were just like, and it may be the way the press does it, but it just looks like they always the only two people on the field. Like, you don't see nobody else's wife and relatives out there dancing. And I still want to go back to, if that was Ayesha Curry doing that, or if that was LeBron James's wife, or if that was Travis Kelce's girlfriend out there doing that, they would have ripped them to shreds. And they do get on his fiance to a certain extent, but it's also a lot of people defending her. But I want to say, if that was any other type of woman looking a different type of way, it would be a very different, like, if Ayesha Curry had sprayed the crowd down with champagne, they would be still talking about that right now.
They'll be trying to ban her from the stadium. They be like, no, how dare she? She can never come in here.
Yep.
So, I think we all know that, but you want to roll into are we heading over to Reddit?
We can head over to Reddit for our finale for the day.
The Reddit.
As we do that, I just wanted to get your thoughts about, how do you think our video went? How was our video session for you?
I'm enjoying it. We had some difficulties, as y'all know. First time. Hey, but I think we gotten a good flow of things. So hopefully it's all coming together. So. You had a good time out here before?
I had a fantastic time.
For
those that are wondering what we were drinking, we are drinking whiskey. Is it a neat pour? I don't know what it's called when it's not on ice.
I had to taste a couple times. I'm starting to feel it.
Well, let's hurry up and get this Reddit out the way so we can get you. We can get some water.
Chattanooga, I don't even know why. Chattanooga whiskey, 91 proof, straight bourbon.
All right.
Get me though.
Am I the asshole for only continuing to pay for my adult children who started families?
So they only pay for their adult children who started families?
So, like, they're grown children who
Yeah.
have kids.
And they help them pay for things.
Financially supporting those kids.
But not the ones who didn't pay.
Who don't have kids.
You don't have kids? Are you the asshole? A little bit. A little asshole.
Well, let's get into it. So this person has some typos and grammar issues. So I may like hop to summarizing at certain points. In short, I've devoted myself, male 64, to my career and future family since I was 17. Started my first savings account and I managed to accrue quite a bit, but not an infinite amount of money. I have 8 children and they've been the true lights of my life. I pay for all of them to be educated and all their expenses up to their 21st birthdays. My issue is this. When my second daughter was 19, she became pregnant and I made the decision to help her financially with her child going beyond her 21st birthday. So the cutoff was 21, but she had a baby. So he said, I'll continue to help you even after you're 21. Okay. I've been supporting her family since and eventually made the rule that as long as any of my own children had a child, the financial support would continue until said child turned 21. So he's saying I'll continue to support my children's household until my grandchild in that household turns 21. The amount I pay includes rent, food, tuition, and a modest monthly recreation fund. So, living a good life.
I need to go talk to my mother.
All right. So, since then, 5 of my children have started families all early, so I've continued to support them. So, they all started families before 21, which I mean, with an incentive like that.
They be like, shoot,
right.
You need to pop one out.
Right. My youngest daughter is not yet 21, so she's currently covered, but my 4th daughter, Emma, and my youngest son have not had any children. Emma has taken an issue with this. She's married and considers her pets to be her children. But the pets don't obviously require tuition or a recreation budget or any other money to live like in a child-friendly area. He feels like they don't require any extra support. She claims that I am pushing her into having children she does not want, as she is a child-free person. I just feel though, as a college-educated woman with a 2-income home and very few responsibilities, she can take care of herself financially. My youngest son has not made any complaints. Emma says this is favoritism and I'm trying to force a lifestyle onto my kids. I don't believe I'm in the wrong here, but am I an asshole?
No, he's not the asshole. I mean, he can choose to do with his money how he spends it. He can give all his money to one child if he wants. I mean, it's his money. It's probably not the best, but I don't know if I would say he's just the asshole based on that.
So Reddit thought he was the asshole. And I was really surprised by that. I think sometimes I have to remember that you don't know how old people are already, and you don't know what type of like families and backgrounds they come from. Yeah. And I think that has a lot to do with how people think about what your parents should do for you and what's fair and what's not fair. But what I heard him saying was Emma has a steady income. She's stable. She's safe. She just chose not to have children. And so you don't have children, you don't get the financial support. And if you don't need the money, then why? My question is like, why do you want that money? And they answer, well, my siblings are getting their bills paid and they have kids. You know, it's like, well, that's just because grandpa wants to take care of his grandkids. He's not paying the children, he's paying for the grandkids. And she chose not to have any.
Which is fine.
So I could see if she was like, didn't have an education, didn't have a degree, didn't have a partner, didn't have a good job, and she needed the financial support, and he was still saying no. But it sounds like she's okay.
Yeah, undergrad degree seems to have been paid for.
Yeah.
So
tuition paid.
Tuition was paid. All her bills up to that point. I doubt he just cut them for 21. Probably let them graduate school.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you graduated at 22, 23, and now you're cut off. So
yeah. Now, what I will say, like a lot of people's basic argument was that he was an asshole because they felt like he was manipulating his kids into having grandchildren. But I would say that it sounded more like the first person had a baby. She got pregnant at 19, and he decided to offer support. And he just said, "Oh, I enjoy doing this, so I will continue to do that." It's not like the stipulation is they have to have a certain number of kids, or they have to keep having kids every 2 years or anything. And maybe I will give it to the commenters on Reddit. I think maybe setting up a system sent a message to everybody else of like, oh, if I don't want to get a job, I can just have a baby and dad will take care of me. Yes.
And then they can start podcasting on YouTube.
So maybe like I don't have to work as hard, or I don't have to, try as hard if I know I have somebody paying for rent and my kids' tuition. Yeah. But I mean, again, it's still a free choice. Like she chose not to take the offer. And I think she should. Now, if she's like, hey, Dad, I need to borrow some money, or I need something that's coming up in the future, I need some money. If he has it, great for it that he helps her with it. But I don't feel like I'm paying you. That's like the same, to me, it's like the same thing as a child support argument. Like he's basically paying grandkid support to them. So if you don't have any grandkids, why would I pay you grandkid support?
I pay for you up to 21. I'm not paying for you anymore. So I don't feel like he's the asshole in this situation.
These sound like very privileged people to me, for the fact that you got your whole college tuition paid. The other siblings are getting their households paid for basically, and their kids are financially comfortable thanks to grandpa. And you mad because you want to continue being taken care of financially? Like, it's people who get kicked out the house at 18.
Yeah, 18. They ain't even finished. Some of them ain't even finished high school. They just kicked out because they're 18 years old. They still got a whole semester left, and they don't ever finish because of that. So.
Yep.
Yeah, I think she's gonna sit down. They say anything in the comments?
A lot of people say he was an asshole because he was spoiling his kids, and he's practicing favoritism by rewarding the kids who have children and punishing the ones who don't have children. And I'm like, that again.
It's not a punishment. I'm not punishing you for not having children. You're just not getting this thing, which can be seen as an incentive to have kids. But if you choose not to do it, you're not losing anything,
right?
Because you never would have got it if you don't have the kids.
Yeah, and I mean, if he's incentivizing his kids to have grandchildren, and that's the way they're receiving that offer, oh well. I mean, it's your generosity. You can be generous with your money how you want to be generous with your money, and nobody can come up and say like, well, you gave it to them because I made the stipulations clear for every family. It's not like she had a kid and he changed his mind. So. Oh well, I don't know. I have to disagree with Reddit on this one.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Reddit. Please don't beat us up, Reddit. I don't really like to beat people up. They like us tussles.
I need to find where Grandpa lives. We a long lost kid.
Remember us? We's mans now. But thank you all for coming on our journey, and for the people that are watching this on the video places, thank y'all for being here and vibing with us. So I guess we'll see y'all next time.
Until next time.
You gonna wave to people?
Bye. Oh, we can wave now. We can say goodbye and we can wave goodbye.